All right. Good evening, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful day. Best part of my day was the fact that we got to eat lunch together with our staff. I know it's technically a holiday and a lot of people had the day off, but I guess I'm the clueless one who just thinks it's Monday and we have inventory to do. So I had planned for today to be an inventory day, but we had staff willing to come in. I messaged them over the weekend. I said, I forgot that today is technically a holiday, so you don't really need to come in, but they're wonderful. And they did. So we had a little bit of a low-key day. We ended up seeing some patients and had some appointments, and I'm trying to adjust so you don't see weird shadows on my glasses. So I'm sorry about that. We will get better, but some little housekeeping details at first. I never introduced myself. I'm Emily Blau. I am a veterinarian, so I went to Purdue University and I'm wearing my sweatshirt, but apparently they got annihilated today in a bowl game. I don't know. I wasn't watching. I was working and I didn't really realize it when I put my shirt on, but I grew up in Indiana. I practice in Indiana and Michigan, so we're kind of near the state line, but I am a kid that grew up on a farm and spent a lot of my time growing up with cattle. So you can see my Bonnie Mohr print and it's sparkly. So we put this one up in the winter, but I really like cattle. I was in 4-H, and for those of you who are not familiar with 4-H, I would encourage you to reach out. You can contact our office and we can give you the rundown, or you can find what's called your county extension office, and those are people who are affiliated with the schools that are the land grant institution colleges in your state, and they help basically do an educational program. So there are opportunities for you to do things with livestock and animals, but also a lot of different other activities and about anything you can think of, arts and crafts, shooting sports. You can do cooking, you can do models, you can do fishing, you can do, oh my word, countless things. So it's a great activity for people to get connected with other youth, and also there are opportunities for adults through the Homemakers Club, volunteering to be a leader, and that's something that we really recommend. So one of my maybe nuances, downfalls, whatever you want to say, is I pinball around a lot. So if you're getting lost, just hit pause, take a deep breath, it'll be okay. But we're going to cover a lot of topics. I want this to be short enough that you can watch it and not be like tired, but also get something out of it and worth your time. So 4-H is great. I was a 4-H kid. I grew up on a farm. I practice on a lot of livestock. So veterinarians have different types of career opportunities, just like people in human medicine do. And traditionally, if you've seen the PBS series James Herriot or read the books, those are fantastic books for those of you who are looking for books to read to kids that are maybe a little bit older or better readers, looking for some stories. Sometimes the language can be a little rough, but they are great books that expose you to being a veterinarian in the UK. And so they're pretty great. They're good stories, and I'm actually reading one of them right now. But you would have an option to get some more case experience. So that's a good thing, is familiarizing yourself with that. I already forgot what we were talking about and what tangent we were going on. But anyway, it'll come back to me. It's been a long day. But I wanted to do some introductions. We also have staff that work with us, and they're going to be in and out as well, and offering up some suggestions. So it's really bugging me. I don't remember what we were going to talk about just like 2 thoughts ago. But anyway, I definitely think that for those of you who have youngsters in your lives who want to be a veterinarian, it is really valuable to have a journal. So when you get older and you're going to apply to school, Whether you are a vet tech, which is like a veterinary nurse, or you're a veterinarian, you're going to need to show your experience. And applications want to know what you've been exposed to. This can include things with your pets. This can include things with your friends who have pets. If you're really serious about wanting to be a vet, or you really want an animal and your parents are not allowing you, or your living situation doesn't allow you to right now, spend time with people who have pets and try to learn as much as you can. You can go to the library, you can read, you can look up videos online. On YouTube, there are a lot of ways that you can get exposed to pets and pet ownership and pet care or livestock care. And there are lots of farmers and lots of people who have animals that are willing to share that information with you. So try to get around those, but record them. You can get a 99-cent veterinary composition book or a journal and just start writing what you do. Animal experience, time that you're with people with their animals. If you have friends or grandparents who are going to the vet, go with them, take notes, meet people. Networking is huge. I remembered what we were going to talk about. So in this career, you can do a lot of different things, and it's starting to specialize more in matching what the human side has. So when I went to school, I wanted to be a food animal veterinarian. I wanted to work on livestock. I wanted to work on cattle, sheep, pigs, goats. I wanted to work on chickens and things that were primarily large animal, except for horses. I enjoy riding horses, but it was not something professionally that I wanted to do. We do limited things with horses right now, but we don't provide reproductive services or lameness. We can do some basics. We do some vaccinations. We can help people if they have lacerations sometimes. It's usually my cousins or close friends who are like, hey, come on over. My horse did something crazy, which is usually how it goes. Food animal would be what I described that I wanted to do. And some of the universities allow tracking. So the Purdue Vet School allows tracking where you can, once you get to a certain part of your career, you can choose how you want to study. Phone ringing, like always. Hang on. So some schools do what's called a mixed animal track, and that would be basically covering all the species, the small animals and large animals. Some do have a research track, and they want to do research. They don't necessarily want to be in practice. So you have small animal, you have equine. Companion animal would be the small animals like dogs and cats and horses. You can do exotic animal practice, which would be small animals like pocket pets. You could do birds, you can do reptiles. There's so many opportunities. So whatever you want to pursue, you can make it happen. But you still need to learn about all the species, and you still need to be able to pass the boards. And then you can kind of tailor what you're doing here and there. So I went to school at Purdue after I graduated from Manchester. Well, anyway, I went to Manchester College and I went to Purdue. It's now Manchester University. And then I was a food animal tracker, and then I worked in a bovine or cattle only practice. And then now we're back here and we have Crossroads Food Animal Vet Service. And we have the logo, which was on my vest yesterday. And then we have this logo that we've just kind of launched that has the cat and the dog in the front, because more and more we're doing mixed animal practice, even though that's really weird to say, and our name is still Food Animal, but I haven't switched it yet. But our YouTube channel has that picture on it to try to help you find it. So hopefully you can find us. All right. So when people call us and are going to need a veterinarian, no matter what animal it is, they are going to try to establish a relationship with us. And that is called a Veterinary Client Patient Relationship. So we have people that we have seen before in the past. They come in, they want to establish being one of our clients, establish being having their animals as patients of ours. And that relationship gives us the opportunity to provide them with advice and look at their animals, help them with emergency care. And I actually printed off some of the definitions. So as a veterinarian in the United States, we are under the American Veterinary Medical Association, and that's kind of like our national organization. And then there are state organizations and that kind of stuff. So the AVMA has this frequently asked questions description, which you can look up and you can kind of go over with your kids or people if you want to, but also for those of you who are adults and pet owners. It also kind of illustrates to you, like, we can't give phone advice because we don't have this relationship. So some people get frustrated when they call and they want their animal to be seen and they're talking to our staff, but we really legally cannot give you advice over the phone. We need to see your animal to establish this relationship, and then once this has been established, then we can keep going. And that's the same kind of thing on the human side, where people have to have a physical exam or a wellness appointment about once a year, is to keep that patient relationship going. So a VCPR is a veterinary client patient relationship. And that, in short, exists when this is from this document, when your veterinarian knows your pet well enough to be able to diagnose, treat any medical conditions your animal develops. Now, pet means livestock and pets. It's your animals, whatever they are. Your part of the VCPR is allowing your veterinarian to take responsibility for making clinical judgments about your pet's health or animal's health, asking questions to make sure that you understand, and following your veterinarian's instructions. Your veterinarian's part of the VCPR involves making those judgments, accepting the responsibility for providing your pet with medical care, keeping a written record of your pet's medical care, advising you about the benefits and risks of different treatment options, providing oversight of treatment compliance, which is your follow-through on their recommendations and outcome, and helping you know how to get emergency care for your pet should the need arise. That's a lot of big words that basically mean you, owner, and your pet and the vet are kind of in this relationship where there's an agreement that if we are going to evaluate your pet or provide a prescription or a healthcare plan, that you are going to ask questions so that you understand it, and you are going to follow those recommendations. So, this is a little sidebar. For those of you who are getting old enough to write, should be probably most of you watching YouTube, you might know that doctors are notorious for bad handwriting. But one of my big pet peeves is that we still do a lot of our records written, and we have a carbon copy that we give to clients. We also have electronic records. But if you write very fast and sloppy and no one can read your handwriting, how are they going to follow your instructions? So a lot of times labels are printed or they're electronic, but it's important that you know and you understand what we're asking you to do so you can do it well. So if you have questions, you need to speak up. Sometimes what we pick to do doesn't work well. That doesn't mean we're incompetent necessarily, or that doesn't mean that we're stupid. It just means that it didn't work, and maybe your patient isn't following the rules. So we need you to agree that you're going to communicate back with us and say, like, hey, my animal's not better. These livestock are not getting over this. I don't like how they're responding. They're still not eating well. You know, back and forth to try to make sure that we are in this agreement that we're going to both work together to make it happen. So a lot of times when I'm on social media, I see people bashing someone or whatever. They call and they're frustrated. And it's difficult, especially during COVID, sometimes to be able to take the time to fully sit down and understand things. So sometimes people need to say, like, hey, we need a consultation visit where we're going to need more time. It's not just a simple thing, but sometimes people come in for their appointments and they have something more major going on and they don't necessarily let us know that ahead of time. So it's hard to block out that kind of time. So your responsibility as a pet owner, livestock owner, is to stay in communication and also to communicate that with the staff when you're having an appointment that, hey, these are important things that I'd like to cover in the appointment so that hopefully the time can be accommodated for it. It might be more expensive than the office call, normally for like a quick wellness visit, but it's worth it. It's worth it to review it. And there are also options for pet insurance. So if you have a pet that maybe you're concerned that you're going to want more medical care for, certain plans allow for visits twice a year. Pets age faster than humans in general. And some pets or some animals live longer, some live shorter lives in general, so you can kind of tailor that. But there are options for people to get pet insurance that can help you to make sure you're going to be able to get the kind of care that you want, and we try to do our best to tailor to that. But this VCPR is what allows us to operate under that. So you have two lists of alphabet soup. The AVMA, the American Veterinary Medical Association, is kind of like our rule-making body, and then the VCPR is what we operate under to have a relationship with people. Cool? Okay. So a VCPR is established when the vet examines your animals in person and is maintained through regular visits throughout the life of the animals, and includes usually a visit once a year. So sometimes people have been into the vet and then it's been like 3 years. Well, you would not be considered an active patient. You may at one time have had a VCPR, but that has expired. And so we can't write you a prescription on your farm. We need to go back out. So we have some people who they need us to come visit every year because of compliance with other programs associated with either shipping milk or they want a prescription for something based on their animals and how they manage them. For example, like white-tailed deer, they move them. We need to use sedatives so that we can move them safely. And we can't prescribe those if we haven't been to the farm. So we have to go out and we have to do that. There are some new telemedicine things that we can do and tools available. But in general, it's an in-person evaluation. And so if you have not been keeping your VCPR valid or current or up to date, then it's illegal and unethical for the veterinarian to dispense or prescribe medications or recommend treatment without previously or recently examining your pet. A valid VCPR cannot be established online via email or over the phone, but once established, it may be able to be maintained between medically necessary examinations with telephone or other types of communications or consultations. But it's up to your veterinarian's discretion to determine if this is appropriate and in the best interest of your animal's health. And this is important because it's law. And there are things called a Practice Act, which are designated by the state and talk about how you have to comply with their rules within the state to meet the Practice Act. And that's what we operate under. So when I did the intro video, I apologize to all the vet techs and veterinary staff and veterinary nurses because I did not give you credit. So we work with a lot of people who are either in training for veterinary technician school or like now it's called veterinary nursing. They're wonderful. They save us all the time. I would love to have a food animal, mixed animal practice vet tech. So if you know a good one, send them my way. Candy was my favorite. She was awesome. I've been trained by other people. I miss her like crazy. And for those of you needing that story, just let us know. But we appreciate you. And I did not include that. So I've gone back through and edited things. But this is for people who want to be a veterinary nurse, veterinary like doctor side, or support staff. Not just this little channel is going to be for everybody, really. And we hope that it helps educate pet parents and livestock owners too. So that was one thing. And the name, we've gone with Vet Mentor US because it turns out in the UK there is a Vet Mentor and there is also a Mentor Vet in the United States. So Vet Mentor US. Even though we are hoping to reach out to people all over, and I have friends in Portugal. Hi, Maddie, Joanna, and Anna. I miss you. We know this could go, all over just because of the possibility of electronic communication and media. But we are here. So, Vet Mentor US. And we'll just reach out to everybody. A VCPR can be ended by you as the client. You can terminate a VCPR anytime by notifying the veterinarian. You can ask for your records to be transferred. If your veterinarian chooses to end the VCPR, they should notify you. And if your animal has an ongoing illness, provide medical care until you have transitioned to another veterinarian. So that is kind of the main rundown of a VCPR. I think that it's important for people to understand that because sometimes people get frustrated or they call us because they're trying to get a hold of somebody, they're trying to get stuff over the phone, they're trying to ask people for advice on Facebook, on Messenger, on whatever platform, and they're just wanting people to give them free advice. Or we have people all the time that will say like, hey, who do you know who's a vet that's cheap? And that's a whole nother topic. But bottom line, you need to have, and we really encourage you to have an established relationship with a veterinarian, especially for livestock people or people who are new to 4-H and are new to animals. Like, we can help train you and help you understand things, and we will help you become as comfortable as you want to be with giving vaccines and trimming feet. And on the small animal side, we will try to do our best to meet you where you are. But it's important to have a VCPR. And then we can make steps from there. But a lot of people are not taking new clients on an emergency-only basis. We are running really full schedules and trying to balance having work and life. And It's not always balanced. It's a lot of times lopsided, but you try to get all the things done and not drive yourself crazy or your staff. And they were here till 6 o'clock tonight, which I know some people work that late all the time. That's fine, but that was not our intention for today on this holiday that they were actually working. But they're wonderful people, and I know a lot of people who go to work at 7 a.m. and they don't leave till maybe 7 p.m. and trying to balance kids and stuff. So you need to understand, like, there's a lot going on. Soapbox, sorry. But we try to make sure everyone can get taken care of and also make sure that our staff can do their things too. So VCPRs are important because we're taking care of our clients, and to like work in new clients who don't have established care is really difficult, and we still try to do that. But we do not have a policy of taking a new client on an emergency only basis. So we require people to plan ahead, because if we were just dropping everything all the time for the people who did not have an established vet, it would be really, really difficult. And we're not trying to be disrespectful. It's just we have other things we have to do. So also for those youngins who want to be vets, like, that's important. As you get older and you are doing different things, you need to also try to make sure that you're being able to balance work and life, and you're doing fun stuff and things that you enjoy and spending time with your family, and not just always having to work, because you will get burnout and then you won't want to do this job. And if it's your calling, then it's frustrating, because then you need to try to figure out what else you're going to do because you're unhappy, because you're working all the time. And those are like really big grown-up things to deal with, but you might see it in your parents or people that you know or love that are working really hard, and it's just hard. Sometimes we have to do that, and sometimes we have to work a lot. But we hope that we can get to a place where most of the time it's a really good balance, and you're doing things that are fun, and you're doing work, and you're happy, and you're fulfilled. Okay. I do really like this profession, and I really hope that you're going to learn stuff and you're going to find it useful, and I hope that you continue to want to be a vet and not be scared away. But this is like honesty about what we do and how we do it. I think the next talk that we're going to do is going to be on thermometers, taking a temperature. We need to work our way to physical exams, and how we do that and what we look over, and that being the cornerstone. But wanted to start here. So I hope you had a wonderful day. I hope you talk about what was great about your day with your parents or whoever you're with. And for those of you who are older, I hope you still talk about what was good about your day, because there's still pretty much always good things, and you should find some good things to be happy about. So that's it for now. Today's January 2nd, and I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow. And even if it's crazy, I still hope you find great things, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in.